When do you start audit the website? If you start working on a website from scratch, and what tools do you use for auditing the website? Um,
Well,
I mean, I constantly audit it. Really, just I mean, I mainly use Ahrefs.
yeah, Ahrefs is going to be our number
Um,
one go-to, right? Like you can quickly analyze a very broad picture. It's going to be the best one as far as that style tracker goes, as far as data, in my opinion, over Majestic, SEMrush, or any of those. So it's the tool that I would say we always have on hand to inspect our own sites or inspect client sites. And then based on the data that we look into there, so, we've done it in other videos too, where we start maybe with the overview, the overall health of the site, then we may check anchors, whether they're diversified, what kind of information is in there, and then maybe backlinks, right? And you can dig in as far as you want using Ahrefs, and then to further
it also
that
says it's a
data.
fresh website.
Well, I think they're talking about, so if it's a fresh site, but then you've been doing it, like how long before you audit? But like you said, we're always auditing, right? Like you always want to know what your site's doing. But at the same time, you don't just use something like Ahrefs to audit, right? What's better than Ahrefs?
Right.
Having Google
Yeah,
Analytics set
analytics
up,
and
right? Or
Search Console.
Yandex set up, if you don't want to deal with Google. You're going to get a lot of actual data based on who's accessing the site, what pages they're going to, etc. And you can optimize based on any number of these variables. Like, for example, I've got a site that I got up to a load of traffic recently, but it wasn't converting very well. And so recently I spent a couple of days going back in and kind of analyzing, how I might be able to up profits from those pages because they have the most traffic going to them. And so I just optimized based on new products that were pertainable to that specific SERP, right? And sure enough, profits are up this month. So it's like you're always going in, you're always exploring new opportunity, but Ahrefs, Google Analytics, SEMrush, Majestic, um,
So yeah, just pick like one of the big backlink
yeah,
tools.
sure.
So it's either Ahrefs, Majestic, or
SEMrush, yeah, probably.
Moz.
Yeah,
But I
Moz,
mean, we
sure.
we use Ahrefs. It's not a question really.
Yeah.
And then yeah, analytics and Search Console.
And then maybe like a specific rank tracker like SE ranking so that
Yeah,
you've got very
I would say that one's
hardline data.
like that one's awesome. But as far as like the bare necessities go, you're on a desert island. You've only
Mm,
got
well,
you've only got $5.
but the thing is, you've got so much variance on what Ahrefs says you rank for than what you actually rank for on a daily basis that I think it's worthwhile. Like, okay, top.
I think a lot of rank trackers might even do like free up until like 100
Yeah,
keywords or something.
yeah. So any rank tracker, right? You might be able to find some free ones that'll work just fine for you. And yeah, from auditing, I would say there. But if you want to get a little more technical with your auditing, maybe you're an on-page white hat nerd, then
Surfer.
Surfer SEO, baby. I love that tool. That's a nasty tool in a good way, right?
But yeah, I mean, as far you're starting from scratch. You just want to keep an eye on the stuff. Get comfortable with Search Console,
Hmm.
get comfortable with Google Analytics, um, but also remember that if when you're building a site from scratch, things are gonna move like real sluggishly, right? Um, it's not gonna be for a while until you've really started to add a bunch of backlinks to the site and it's been around for a while that things start to react a little bit more quickly. In the beginning, it's going to be super sluggish. So, as far as like, are you using those tools to really analyze or audit in the beginning? Not really.
Yeah.
You're just moving forward with the steps that you need to take to get things moving,
Which
right?
are what?
Um, I mean,
Content
yeah,
and
getting your
maybe
content that's of
linking,
course like
etc. Yeah.
optimized well with your on page, and you've done proper keyword research, and then slowly starting to build up your link profile, the nice foundation of diversified backlinks.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I wouldn't really start like really like auditing stuff using those tools probably for I mean, you don't really need to look at it. You might want to look at like Search Console and make sure there's no like
just wanna-
weird technical problems or something. But
I guess something like we kind of glossed over is like, when would you look into an audit, right? If it's a brand new site, you've been working on it for 6 months, you've added 100 new articles, they seem well written, etc., on pages on point. Maybe you've done some pillow linking and you haven't gotten anywhere, like there's no movement in the SERPs, then there's probably something going wrong, right? After 6 months. If it's pre 6 months, then I would say keep doing what you're doing. 6 months would still be a long period of time, but just talking about for safety's sake, before, what I'll come to find a lot of people want to audit is something that is not auditable, basically, right? So it's like, oh, I've got this site, I've been working on it 2 months, and I'm working really hard and I'm doing everything right. So then I audit the site and it's like, it's got 10 pages, it's got 2 backlinks, and you haven't been doing shit other than the first week you bought it. So it's like, got no momentum. What do you want it to do, right? So there's no need for a real audit. The audit is...
That's a common.
Keep working
I
on
feel like
it.
this is a very common thing because people don't understand.
It's so common.
They don't understand yet. Like, why is it not showing up?
And when I first started,
why am I not ranking for my keywords?
I lost my hair about that a lot, because it took me probably a little over a year to get my first actual ranking. Because I picked the wrong niche, too competitive, picked the wrong, schools of thought, etc., and it was a long, arduous journey. But
how about this? When would you audit and start looking for problems? Say you started a fresh site. How many months would you give it?
I'm a normal, bare bones, white hat SEO.
Let me finish the question though.
Go ahead.
So, you started a site from scratch. Yeah, you're a normal SEO. You're not super advanced. And
in Google Analytics.
Let's say, you've been building a couple links or whatever, and, you've been doing your on page, you've been putting up new content, regularly. How many months would you let go by before you really start to look into things and start to get kind of like worried? Like, why are things not moving?
All right, I'll paint the picture. So basically, I'm that person, right? I'm in Google Analytics. I don't even know what Ahrefs is or any audit tools, but I do know I have Google Analytics set up on this website, and I'm actively working on this website. I've gotten it in a position within 3 to 4 months, right, where I've noticed, wow, hey, traffic is coming to my site. I've got hardline data, where they're going, what they're doing, etc. But then a month or two later, all of a sudden, boom, there's a drop-off. And then that continues, and it seems like there's a steady decline over a month or two. And a lot of this is going to depend on how often you work on the site, what kind of, maneuvers you're taking with the site as far as building content, maybe backlinks, etc. And so if I've gotten to a position where I had traffic and then I started to lose it, then that's a good time to audit. And if I don't know how to audit, we've done a ton of videos, and there's other people doing videos as well on how to audit sites. Or you can even just bring it to us here, and typically we'll do it. Or hire somebody to audit your site, do a deep dive into it using tools that maybe you don't know how to use, right? If you don't have the time, but you do have the money. So at that point, it's a trade-off. But basically, if you've seen success and then success starts to dwindle, it might be time for an audit. But before you hire somebody to... Hold on. Before you hire somebody to audit, what do you want to make sure you're doing? SEO, adding content, working on the site, changing things up. It's alive. It's a, moving vessel. Because otherwise you've just created something that's stagnant, and it makes sense that it would decline because it's lost, buzz over time, and that's something that's, trackable and traceable. Good.
I was just going to say, when he talks about losing traffic, we're not talking about you got 10 traffic and now you got 5.
Yeah, typically not. Yeah.
We're talking like you built up like actual like a good amount of traffic and keywords, and then maybe I don't know. It's going to really depend on your site and what you're
Yeah.
going for. But not just a small amount, because in the beginning you're going to you might get like 5 traffic. It might go back down to 0. Your keyword's going to be popping in and out. Did you talk about like, so what if they're building links and they're adding content and stuff, and then it's been like 3 months and they're like the site hasn't really added any keywords or anything yet?
Yeah,
How long would you give
I
it before
did
you
say
kinda...
that, but it's really dependent on how much content you're adding to the
And how
site
many
and what
links
you're
you're adding
doing.
too.
Yeah, whether it's safe.
If you've added like 5 backlinks and your site's been around for 3 months, like it really might not start to pop at all.
A lot of times you'll see it's like, I got this 5-page site. I bought the finest PBN links and nothing is happening. Yeah, well, that's a very simple audit.
Or I've got 10 articles
Watch
and
our
I
videos.
bought 2 high authority guest posts.
Yeah. Why am I not number 1?
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of auditing too is going to be based on, the level of SEO you are, I guess. How capable you are. If I've got a website that I start from scratch, if within 2 months I'm not getting any kind of movement, 2 or maybe 3 months tops, I'm not getting any kind of movement. I'm not talking about jumping to competitive terms, but if I'm not getting any movement, then I know something is severely wrong. Now that doesn't happen, let me tell you, but if it did, it would be audit time. But, the cool thing about audits is the more you audit websites, it's about exploration. It's about diving in and learning the things that make something work, right? Make data work for you. The more you audit, so you should just get in the habit of taking a tool, auditing different websites, and just going through what's going on, and then coming up with hypotheses on why these things are happening. As you do that, you're going to become a better SEO.
And I'll just say this too, you're in our group. If you think something's wrong with your site, you got a fresh site and you've been working on it for a while, send us a message and be like, is there something wrong or should I just keep going? And we'll let you know. We'll be able to look at it and give you an answer after like 5 seconds, So we'll just look at how many links you've added, how much content you have, and
5 seconds.
How long you've been
That's
working.
That's a guarantee.
It's just
5 seconds or less. SEO, ours is the best.
If we pop in there and they've got like 100 RD and a good amount of content,
for sure.
And it's not pulling up any keywords, it's like, what? Okay, something's going on
If
here.
you've been auditing sites for as long as we have, it's literally like, yeah, sure, I'll pull it up. And then, you can deep dive, right? And you can come up with like different levels of audit, but at a glance, usually like within 5 minutes, I think we can tell basically what's,
I'm not saying we'll audit your site. I'm not saying we'll audit your site.
Yeah, we still got to come up with
we'll tell you if it should be audited.
Yeah, right? Plus, since we've been doing these shows, guys and gals, and sorry if I've, me or Chris have ignored maybe an IM or an email or something, but it's like, we can't keep doing free work outside of here. Like, I've got a lot of people that are like, I don't want to be on the show, but will you please audit my site? And I've tried to accommodate as best I can, but legitimately, I've spent years doing that, and I've never been somebody who would advocate not helping people out. It's just that at this point in time, we've gotten a bit too busy. So these videos and helping out here is part of the automation of just helping this entire society, right? And so if you appreciate that, then invite your friends, family, bring everybody along, and we'll try and help as best as we can. We don't ever intend to not be an informational kind of business as well. Like, we're not monetizing that side necessarily, but backlinks is our game, and giving out free SEO education is just something we think is right.
All right, let's move on. I'm afraid we're not gonna be able to get to all the questions today.
We got a lot today, yeah.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.